Cool, so we're just going to jump straight into it again. I'm just breaking these down into smaller segments. So in the last one, we sort of did our legs and our torso. I know it's very simple, but it's making sure that we've got our joints, because once we've got our joints working, that's probably good. It's half the battle, I think. But let's bring back our arm. And let's isolate that and go shading, smooth shade all. Cool. So we've got quite a few things that we need to do on this. So we've got this our joint here, which can only rotate in this way, and that one can only rotate in that way. But let's not worry about that. Let's just create our clusters. So I'm just going to assume that all the sort of pivot points are broken, and just going to go through it just in case. So I'm just going to go to form, create a cluster. Then I can use this cluster on the same as that one. Then so those two deform, create a cluster. No, that's in the center there. Those two, so hopefully, ooh, don't do that, so I'll control those curves. So where we want this, I think that'll be right. I know it's like sort of intersecting there, but it'll be alright. Let's not worry too much about that. Ooh. So we can also select those edge loops, edge rings, sorry, constrain, deform cluster. That should make a cluster in the middle, just in case you haven't got an edge loop there. It doesn't have, and it's just really useful for finding those sort of points that we want. And going to hide that for now. Cool. Pretty much going to do the same thing. I'll do it across there, so that's a more complete edge loop. Deform cluster. I think that probably actually has to be in the center here, so let's compare. Let's go to, you can do faces as well, so deform cluster, and I'll put it in the middle. So it doesn't look like that's in the center, but when it's the C above it, so don't get too confused about that, because I know sometimes when you look at it. So we have kind of got an offset here where it's slightly off. And I think that's probably because I wanted to see more of that. We'll come back to that. Do the same again. So I am just assuming that all our pivot points are broken. Deform cluster. I might have to figure out how I can I haven't done a robot rig in so long. It's probably, for people that are like pro riggers, it's probably painful for them to watch, but if you're just learning, it'll be fine. So press G to repeat command. And I might as well just do all these as well. Like I said, these are only to guide us for our placement of our joints. Sorry. Getting a little bit sleepy. I might have to call it a night off this one. G, and it doesn't matter if you select the edges or the faces, as long as you select the entire loop. And now you've got the clusters in the orientation of that. Let's select all these. Do the same again. It's just so we don't get any wobbly joints. And I don't really want to be faffing around with like aligning them manually. Cool. So let's go as our right arm. And so we've got to decide if we want to fix this before. Oh, I know why it's because we have center of the pivot. I think we scaled this up previously, which is probably why it's like that. And I am going, before I do that, because we're scaling it down, I have to check the texture quickly. So I'm just going to do a quick, can't really see that. I don't want to do and if that's okay, we'll do that offset to everything else. Just want to check that it's not breaking anything first. So it's absolutely fine. Cool. So I think we'll do that. Let's just double check that this will fit round nicer. How much of a difference does that make? Quite a bit. Do we do it or not? There's the question. Do we make it bigger? It looks nicer, a bit chunkier. I think let's just leave it so we don't complicate anything anymore. And if you want to adjust it, you can. Cool. So let's select our right arm. Control. Ooh. Select our right arm. And all our cluster handles. Just select all this. Just let's hide this. So just gonna select it all here. Just isolate that. So now we've just got the hand. So I'm just gonna go to my orthographic top. And then we can start making joints. So I can hide my polygons for this. Hold V, snap. Boom. Then we do have, what are we going to do here? Because we've got two positions here, which we kind of... do I want to go straight from the wrist? Yeah, let's go straight from the wrist to there. And I've just realized that we probably need to add a tip in as well. So deform cluster. Let's turn off our polygons again. Select our joint and we can parent that afterwards. In fact, what's probably easier, if we don't do it that way, we do it this way first. Let's reevaluate that. So it's not there, it's not there. I'm going to leave that for now. Oh, we need to do one for the thumb as well. I think it's definitely time for bed, I think. I'm feeling a little bit tired. Anyway, let's get some of this done. Cool. So I'm just going to hold V and do my thumb. Cool. And the reason why I've done that is because we can parent this now, but we still need to check our orientations on everything. So if what we've learned from other ones, there is not much point doing that until we actually, let's hide these cluster handles for now. Select all these joints. I always keep forgetting that you actually need to select them out of the hierarchy. Then go to display, transform to say local rotation. Cool. So almost right. So let's shift P all that. Well, it looked weird when it was zoomed out, so I thought it was a... So we know this is the center, and select that one. This is easier because we're doing we've done it in a way that everything's kind of in right angles, so we don't have to worry too much about aiming it slightly off. Whereas sometimes you might actually have to do an aim constraint all the time. And press G, probably get a way of doing it for that one as well. Cool. I guess I'm not a master at rigging, so sorry if this is not best practice, but for the stuff that I know, at least I know we need to at least be so X is think that's wrong. Because we're always following our X down the bones. So I think that this is possibly wrong. Thinking out loud. So that would mean that would be like that. Let's leave it as that for now. Let's see if it goes horribly wrong. Constrain, aim. Oh, so we need to make sure that it's aiming at the tip. Constrain. Oh, orient constraints on. Constrain, aim. So now, because we're not working in the exact sort of orientation, we need to make sure that our X is pointing at our tip. And we also need to make sure straight. Oh, remove our aim. And let's just go to our orthographic side. It's quite possibly that. There are many ways you could probably do this. As long as they are pointing in the correct angle, and don't forget these are going, they seem to be going higher, bending upwards. So as long as that's pointing to there, we can constrain, orient, no, other way around, sorry. Constrain, orient. Press G and that should orientate that around. And we'll know if we've done it wrong, because then when we do our yes, we have. So this is definitely wrong, because if we rotate it all on the X-axis, it will rotate differently towards everything else. So I think this one here is correct. All right. Let's freeze transforms on that. And change that to -90. So now if we did rotate that on the X, that would roll down that way. And let's just do constrain, orient, no. Sorry, I just did that, but sorry if I'm making a bit of a mess. Cool. So that makes sense. I'm so confusing, because then if that was pointing down like those ones, that would say if that was the leg and that was pointing down, that would now match this. Sorry, I just got a bit don't know what happened. I think I probably just need to get some sleep. Cool, so those are correct. These are correct now. These are wrong. So luckily these are 90 degrees, I believe. Yeah. So I can just constrain, orient. G. And this is a lot of the prep work in rigging is really important, and people have tools and stuff to make this a lot better. And yet again, I've done it wrong. So that actually because we have still continued to orientate it, that we actually need to select this one. Then what we can do is select there and constrain aim. No, let's not do that. Let's just we can quite easily just freeze. Luckily we are working at a off the grid, so we can actually freeze these and just rotate them 90 degrees. "21 minutes. All right, we'll definitely get this handled in the time right. So cool. So those are correct. These are not. So we'll rotate this 90 degrees. And now that is correct. So let's constrain aim. Up vector is, that's Y. We need to go X, Y, Z. No, our aim vector is X. I always get this wrong. Up vector is X, Y, Z. That's correct, but we've just got it the wrong way around. Cool. So that's aiming at that. And now we want this to be the same orientation. Straight orient. Pretty sure you can do all this in the aim constraint, but constraint orient, no. Cool. So now they're all pointing in the right way. And luckily we can just rotate this 90 degrees as well. Sorry, this has taken, well, it's only been 20 minutes, so it's not so bad. Apply. No, I always get this. Why am I always getting this? So basically always remember is what we want it to point to and what we want to point. And that's not correct. Aim vector is, should be right. Let's just delete that. I deleted the wrong bits. Minus 90. Cool. Let's go with the orient, constraint orient. Cool. So Now when we look at this, if we selected all in our sort of X, they would close down and they would all rotate in the correct angle. So I'm just going to select all these and just... It's an incoming connection. I've just got orient straight on. Let's freeze those. And select this one to that one. Press P. Parent, all the way around. So let's get rid of that. Okay. P. So you kind of need to work backwards. P. P. And what we do, we're just creating the hierarchy in here. And I know this is a pretty basic rig, but most of the time-consuming stuff is just making sure that your orientations are correct. So what we'll do is select all of these. I don't know what that's going to do. Yeah, it's done it, yeah. Cool. So now we've done our hand. So we do need to name, what's this joint? Got a random joint there. Let's get rid of it. So I'm just going to select all my joints. Press E and hopefully cool. See how it's rotate. It's all working together. Cool, and we'll just go reset transform. Oh no. Cool. I'm not entirely sure if that's correct. Anyway, let's leave that for now. And effectively we're done. So we could probably mirror this all across. So what we'll do the mirroring, then the controls in the next one. So hopefully you've enjoyed the tutorial. And don't forget to subscribe, it really does help. And see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.